Harry's Wife, Part 102.27. Tungsten. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, continuing to utilise material to enable you to understand more about narcissism. We have, at the moment, within the royal family, two prominent narcissists. The first, of course, is Harry's wife, about whom I regularly dissect her behaviours because so many of you are interested in understanding why she behaves as she does, and, of course, there is a significant section of listeners who actually just enjoy the fact of her poor behaviour being exposed and being called out. Of course, King Charles III is also a narcissist, and this sets things up for interesting interactions in the future. Because whilst Queen Elizabeth II was a normal, Charles is governed by his narcissism, of course, with the pursuit of the prime aims: control, fuel, character traits, and residual benefits. His form of narcissism is less haphazard than that demonstrated by Harry's wife, which has meant that we do occasionally get glimpses of it. For instance, the recent instances with regard to his pen malfunctions. Now, I know some people in the comments have said he's grieving, he's under a lot of pressure, he's tired. That's what caused him to look irritated with the inkwell, and also that he got worked up about the leaking pen. No. What you have to understand is that those factors are simply contributing to the way that his narcissism functions. So, for instance, a narcissist will perceive something as a threat to control and may deal with it in a particular way of brushing it off and being unconcerned by it. But on another occasion, as a consequence of fatigue, stress, the coping mechanism of the narcissism is being stretched, which means that it's less able, for instance, where it's a narcissist that utilises a facade, to maintain that facade. And therefore, the ignited fury underneath comes to the surface. It isn't the fatigue in itself which causes the reaction. It isn't the irritation of itself that causes the reaction. I know some people would have said, I'd have got cheesed off it. I've been expected to sign those large documents on such a small table, small desk. The point is this. The failure to have the desk organised is a threat to control. Why? Because the narcissist sees the world when it comes to interactions with other people through that lens of control. And there were other people around, and somebody hadn't done their job properly with regard to the laying out of the materials on the desk, the inkwell, the pen, and so forth. And therefore, that was a threat to control. The fact that he may well have been tired meant that his narcissism was struggling to maintain the facade, and thus the irritation came through. On another day, perhaps where he was well rested, the facade would have been able to cope better. So it's important to understand that. But the fact that he is a narcissist and Harry's wife is going to make for some interesting interactions in the months, possibly even years ahead. One of the things, of course, that I've explained to you in parts passum is that narcissists regularly give people nicknames. Now, just because you give someone a nickname, that doesn't make you a narcissist, of course not. And before you go there, I'm going to slap your wrists and not tell you not to be so stupid. But once we've established that somebody is a narcissist, it's important to understand that narcissists utilize nicknames, pet names, to basically embody the objectification of the way that we see people. And I would encourage you to go and watch my video, Pet, to understand more about that. News comes this way from page 6 with an article by Leah Bitsky, which tells us, King Charles III's nickname for Harry's wife revealed. She had nerves of steel. King Charles III's nickname for his daughter-in-law, Harry's wife, proves how much respect he once had for her, or, interpreted through the lens of the narcissism, that she was painted white. Royal expert Katie Nicholl reveals in her book, The New Royals, that the British monarch called the Duchess of Sussex Tungsten, which is a hard, steel-grey metal of the third transition series that has the highest melting point of all metallic elements. Charles reportedly nicknamed his future daughter-in-law Tungsten because of her toughness and resilience, Nicholl writes. Notice the propensity to objectify an individual and give them a pet name. Sometimes the pet name can be favourable, often it isn't. Nickel explains that Harry's wife's moniker was apparently born when the suit's alum showed resilience during her and Prince Harry's 2018 appearance with Prince William and Kate Middleton, no, Princess of Wales, but there we are. Once again, these are the publications that keep referring to her as Kate Middleton, and don't you dare in the comments go, "HG, why are you calling her Kate Middleton?" The 2018 appearance with Prince William and his wife at the Royal Foundation Forum. It was, according to one aide, the moment William and Kate, who was heavily pregnant, realised they needed to up their game. Nickel writes, "The Cambridges, now the Prince and Princess of Wales, huzzah, they've got it right, have already signalled their intention to be more than ornamental royals, and had, along with Harry, made a huge success of their mental health campaign, Heads Together." She continues, "But Harry's wife was the breakout star of the foursome. She was polished, passionate, and funny, using all her TV-honed skills to present her case. That was a wake-up moment for William and Kate when they realised that Harry's wife was very impressive, very confident, and very capable, according to a source." I think somebody's over-egging the pudding there. While Charles, 73, may have used the term of endearment 4 years ago, it's unclear whether he still calls Harry's wife, 41, Tungsten, after she and Harry, 38, resigned from their royal duties in 2020 and moved to California. I suspect he no longer does and has some alternative names for her, which I'm actually privy to, and I'll tell you about those shortly. Tensions within the royal family seem to remain high following the death of Queen Elizabeth in September, when Harry's wife reportedly requested to meet with the new king and clear the air. Harry and Harry's wife attended the Queen's funeral alongside William and Middleton, both 40, though the Sussexes were seemingly snubbed with seats in the second row. Page 6 reports that Harry and Harry's wife also dined with Charles, William, Middleton and other senior members of the family after receiving the Queen's coffin at Buckingham Palace ahead of her funeral. Despite the joint appearances, it seems Harry and Harry's wife have yet to make peace with his father, as they swiftly returned to the United States after the official mourning period for the late monarch came to an end. Estranged brothers William and Harry reportedly did not bury the hatchet during their sombre UK reunion either. There are a few comments about this article below the line. Always interesting to see what the mood is. Sherry Corso writes, "I think the royal family treated Harry's wife very nice. They gave her a beautiful wedding, gave her a huge budget for a wardrobe, beautiful honeymoon, millions of dollars for a renovation of a new home. Is nice." Voice of Reason responds, "The Windsors leased Harry and Harry's wife a dilapidated house that had been a servant's quarters to the big house, which needed $2 million in renovations to make it livable. And they paid the money back, all of it. Good girl. It's Megzilla now, here to destroy everything and everyone in her path. She must be respected. She must be revered. She must be queen." Cyrus comments, "Her new nickname is Yoko." Voice of Reason adds, "William drove the wedge between himself and his brother by asking Harry what if the baby's black, and feeding negative stories to the press about Harry's wife, so they wouldn't report on his affair with Rose Hanbury and the fact that he and Catherine have separated. Google it. Seems like Voice of Reason is an infiltrating sugar." MZT responds to that, "William drove a wedge, what if the baby's black? I don't buy that theory. How do you know that to be true? Who are the actual sources you use? Not just Google. And really, even if he did say that, who actually cares? People wanted to know what skin colour the baby would be. Big deal. Hypersensitivity, so she can use that as an excuse to absolve herself from royal duty and service to the British people in the manner a royal is supposed to do. Harry's wife was and is a poor choice for a royal wife." Fancy number 5. Think that source is Harry's wife, Omid Scobie, desperate to keep her name in the papers for Netflix and Spotify, and has clearly paid off Page 6 for prime placement. Rob, Tungsten, more like fool's gold. Anthony Alfonso, now it's probably a lot of curse words for nicknames. Cynical Met fan, what will Harry's nickname be for her 10 years from now? Good Trouble, Chuckles the Clown. Another Conservative in exile, the nickname changed from Tungsten to Tension. Palace insiders, Umami writes, Palace insiders have told me it's actually her lady stick up the posterior. But actually, your glorious narrator, he of the chocolatey velvety tones, is able to tell you that King Charles actually now has a number of different nicknames for her. He refers to her as a churlish, boiled-brained boar pig, a craven, common-kissing canker blossom, a droning, dog-hearted coxcomb, an errant, earth-vexing dewberry, a fobbing, fat-kidneyed flapdragon, a gleeking, fly-bitten fustularian, a gore-bellied, folly-fallen giglet, an infectious, full-gorged haggard, a jarring, guts-griping harpy, a logger-headed, half-faced hedge pig, lumpish, hasty-witted horn beast, mammering, hedge-born hugger-mugger, a mangled, hell-hated joint head, a mewling, idle-headed lutester, a paunchy, ill-breeding lout, a pribbling, ill-nurtured maggot pie, a puking, knotty-pated maltworm, a puny, milk-livered mammoth, a quarling, motley-minded measle, a rank, onion-eyed minnow, a reeky, bloom-plucked miscreant, a roguish, pottle-deep mould-warp, a ruttish, pox-marked mumble-news, a saucy, reeling, ripe nut huck, a spleeny, rough-hewn pigeon-egg, a spongy, rude, growing pig nut, a surly, rump-fed puttock, a tottering, shard-born pumpion, an unmuzzled, sheep-biting ratsbane, a vain, spur-gulled scut, a venom-swagged belly skeins mate, a villainous, tardy-gated strumpet, a warped, tickle-brained varlet, a wayward, toad-spotted vassal, a weedy, unchin-snouted wayface, and a yeasty, weather-bitten wagtail. There you have it. The names that are used. And, as mentioned, utilize, of course, my video Pet to understand more about why narcissists use pet names, but it is undoubtedly the case that King Charles no longer refers to as Tungsten, given her recent behaviours. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.